Beat by CP3.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network. Thank you, gentlemen.
See many wide receivers win 50-50 jump balls against Diggs. You're going to see him. He's going to run an out and up, a little two-part. Diggs has this ball in his sights. Let's see. Gets his left foot. It looks like his left hip is in bounds, Kev.
That's a touchdown.
I think that's a touchdown.
That is an incredible play. Let's see.
Yeah, his left knee is in. That's
down.
A touchdown.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Washington has challenged that ruling.
Washington challenge. This looks to be a score. On the fake, Prescott pumps, throws, intercepted. Holcomb's got it with a pass to the end zone. Holcomb still on his feet, and he's in. Oh my goodness! This game just changed dramatically. A pick six for Cole Holcomb.
That's right. It's Tuesday night. Sports on the Hill podcast, True Radio Network, CP3 coming to you live from the lab with the best DC sports coverage around. Washington football team coming off a missed opportunity game on Sunday, ending their 4-game winning streak. We're definitely going to talk about that in the bottom half of the hour with Dujan. They'll be joining us as always. We're going to talk about the Capitals and their 2-1 week. And still sitting in first place of the Metro, second place in the whole Eastern Conference behind Florida. They have played one less game, but still has the same amount of points. So, and they've lost 2 games to Florida already. So, no, 2. Yeah, they won 1 and lost 2. Yeah, I believe. So, yeah, the Capitals are doing pretty good. They're off tonight. They'll be playing tomorrow against Chicago, which will definitely be a makeup game for the the overtime game I believe they did lose that game to the Blackhawks. Yeah, so yeah, they got to make up for that and go take one on their ice. So we'll be looking forward to that. And then always after football talk, we'll have the NBA roundtable with the Wizards talk with Brian Brennan and Arun, and I believe DC's People's Champ will be on tonight. But before we get there, we got to start here. Anna, how are you doing tonight? Uh-oh, did think you muted yourself. Oh, okay, there you thought you muted yourself.
Oh, pulled a Robbie.
Yeah,
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good now.
Don't want to double mute. No, I'm doing fantastic. This is my last week of teaching, so I'm in the light at the end of the tunnel. I can get through this with my students the next 3 days. And then I have 2 weeks off, which will be much needed.
Yeah, teaching life, especially getting back in the classrooms, I can only imagine. Kids' attention span is probably even less than it was before, and even lacking even more social skills that they had in the beginning because of being isolated at home. So I can only imagine. We talked about it on the show Sunday a little bit. So yeah, more power to you.
Yeah, thanks for acknowledging that. But yeah, it's a challenge. The pandemic hurt everybody. But we're doing our best, and I only want what's best for my students, and at times I have to engage in the most bizarre conversations and pretend like I truly know what they're talking about when it comes to anime and things like that, which I don't. But all of us are really good at being like, that's amazing. Tell me more. So that's basically where I'm at right now. And I've got a bunch of 10-year-old boys that are telling me about Hunter to Hunter or something. I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, I understand. The new season of Yellowstone started, and I feel like a kid because I be telling all my kids you gotta watch it. So I understand how it is with the new shows coming on.
That's it. That's it. Well, congratulations to you on the sale last night.
Yeah, got to keep it
Good for
going.
you.
December, Christmas time, a lot of folks, it's hard to get some things done, but, I'm going to keep plugging away. Winning the day, my job actually had an employee appreciation day where they actually blessed us with a bonus, cash bonus for all the hard work we put in this year. So I'm very appreciative for that fact that they, looked out because, yeah, things have been a little rough, but we're definitely making, we had a record breaking year for the dealership. So, it's been in existence for 9 years, and this is the best year they've ever done. So they took care of it. So I'm blessed and happy about that, which is always a good thing. And I'm gonna go back and plug at it again and try to, you know, keep on getting more car sales and making people happy getting the cars that they want and that they deserve.
Absolutely. If it makes you feel any better, today my school, and I usually, when it comes to things like gifts or appreciation things, I'm not one to say I'm above anything. You want to give me Starbucks cards, I don't drink coffee, that's fine. Like, I appreciate the gesture. I'll take a handwritten card, whatever. But this year my school decided to give us as a gift a backpack. Yeah. And it's why? It's like, we're teachers. We don't need a backpack, but okay. And it would have been fine, but it has like a really quite large logo of our school on it, so I can't even give it to my kids because they don't go to that school or any, whatever. It was something that just kind of had a lot of us thinking, like, I would have rather had a Starbucks card or something. Because like a backpack is just, like, we work at a school. It's like giving us the markers or pencils. We already work at a school. We already have these things. And I don't know a whole lot of adults that wear a backpack. So that's the other thing. And so we just kind of joked about it today. And I thought, like, yeah, whatever. This is 2021 at this point. Nothing phases me. Nothing phases me.
Pretty much. Never know what to expect in this new day and age, but it is what it is. But let's go ahead and get into this Capitals talk. As I mentioned, they had a 2-1 week last week. Still maintaining first place in the Metro Division. Seen some hiccups. Haven't seen the same get up and go and the hustle that we were seeing before. I don't know if it's the injuries and having the youngsters in the lineup. But we haven't seen the same lockdown defense. We haven't seen the same 60 minutes of hockey. So I'm gonna chalk that up to with the COVID stuff and the injuries and bringing up the young guys that they were shining in the beginning, but after a while, other teams start seeing it and spot the weaknesses and putting those young guys in different positions and situations, and we're taking advantage of it. That's just what I've seen. So. Hopefully, we're getting Oshie back, and hopefully Dow to be back off the list, and hopefully Backman will be in the lineup soon and get him in the hockey shape and get him back going. So, like I said, they're still in first place, so you can't complain too much. But it's still something that I've been weary about the last couple of games. What about you, Anna?
Absolutely. I know that last time we were on, we were. God, we were up against the Anaheim Ducks, and it was just a too close for comfort game. And I know that Wilson scored, and that was fantastic. But we had a lot of it was just a little too close because obviously then we had a shootout. It was impressive to see Carlson and Sprong kind of get us out of that hole, but. The shootout and the overtime just seems to be this pattern that I would love to break with the Capitals right now, but it doesn't seem to be in the cards. So hopefully you bring up Nicholas Backstrom. It looks as if, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but it looks like he may be, fingers crossed, in tomorrow's night. God, is it tomorrow? I'm like, what day is it? Like, every day feels like a Monday when it's like the last week of school before the holiday. Going up against the Jets, it does look like Backstrom may play. Wow. but like I just want to leave it there. Like that, that's enough excitement for any fan on this end. Is just like, oh my God, it'd be great to see him back. It does sound like Dowd will also play. No, he'll play Chicago, but he can't play Winnipeg because of
going across
the
border.
Canadian protocol. Yeah, so there's all this kind of stuff going on, but I don't want to, I'm like jumping ahead and I apologize for that, but lots of good things coming up, hopefully with Nicholas Backstrom being back in the lineup. So we can go back. I don't know, Carol, if you had an opportunity to see that Pens game on Friday night. This is, I mean, I get it. It's a rivalry and everyone gets very heated and excited and whatever. But this, like, we just looked terrible. It just was not, it wasn't the Capitals that I was hoping was going to come out on the ice. And so I don't know if you had a chance to see it. I know it was our Friday night game.
Yeah, I saw it. It was very frustrating to watch it, but I believe me and Robbie were going back and forth because he was, chimed in. He hit me up. But for one, Pittsburgh remembered the 6-1 butt whipping they put on them early in the season. Two, as I mentioned, with the youngsters out on the ice, Pittsburgh put them in, situations they weren't used to and took advantage of it. And three, Pittsburgh was, they took away time and space and, made the Capitals make decisions, and they unfortunately were making the wrong decisions and turning the puck over, and Pittsburgh was able to take advantage of it. So yeah, it was a game that was ugly, but Pittsburgh was the better team that night, and they had a good game plan, and they were able to, out execute and outplay the Capitals on home ice, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. And so I'll go ahead and recap it as much as I don't want to, but yeah, you summed it up there. So you have the first and the second was really all about the Pens dominating. Capital wake up and get the goals in the third with Kuzi and Eller, but it was still a 4-2 loss. I mean, it was just one of those things where I kind of felt like when I was watching the game, not even like the effort wasn't there in the first and second period, but it was just sloppy. It was just like, come on, like this is, that's a rivalry team. Like you really want to see them come out and just like kick some ass, but apparently that wasn't in the cards that night. Shots on goal were not terrible, but what did kill them was that face-off percentage. When you don't have a doubt in there, you have a 59% with the Pens and a 40.7% with the Caps. You just can't have that. So that was disappointing. I don't know. It's always one of those hyped up games, and it always hypes up to be like, nah. So I agree. They had the 6-1 loss before when the Capitals played them, and they just came out with vengeance on this one, and we just were not ready for it.
Yeah, they definitely were motivated for this game, and speaking of 6-1, the Flyers were up 6-1 on the Devils in the third period. I got NHL Network on also. Watching some hockey, missing the Capitals. So yeah, Pittsburgh. The Flyers are beating the Devils 6-1. Atkinson has a hat trick for the Flyers.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he has, and Lindbaum, Sandholm, and Ristolainen has 2 assists. So yeah, can't wait for some. Like I said, missing some Capitals hockey. But yeah, unfortunately, it was a ugly loss. Excuse me, to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but got to push forward and move on, and I'm going to see them again and got to make it count. We're still sitting. I was shocked to see the standings, that Pittsburgh is so low in the standings right now. I know they had a lot of injuries and stuff going on, but yeah, we haven't. We're playing some pretty good hockey. I mean, it's still close in the Metro. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a big distance between the two teams, but the Capitals are doing well despite us having injury issues too. So, like I said, we can't be too upset. They had a 1-1 in 1 week last week. They were 2-1 this week. So, for the most part, the first half of the season, they've been surpassing most expectations.
I think I've been most impressed with the fact that it has been a week by week in regards to injuries and in regards to COVID protocol and things like that. So good for the Capitals, on the fact that they have stepped up. The fact that that fourth line is, Mallenstein, you're just like, oh my gosh, like this is, the players from the Bears that you're like, how are they going to do? And you put them out there, Leeson, and they're fantastic. And so it's really great to see that. But it is a little bit like we don't quite have the roster set because things are so up in the air. But you know what? Welcome to playing in sports with COVID. I think that's, especially in the NFL. My gosh, I just saw all the reports on that for Sunday. That's going to be crazy.
I said, don't even get me started. I got a whole list of notes players on the COVID list right now. It's crazy.
It is. It's just like, what the hell just happened? So the fact that we didn't have Garnet Hathaway, we didn't have Dowd, and trying to think of, whomever else was out, obviously, of course, we have Backstrom out, but, big players that were out, consistent players, dominant players. I feel like the team has done fantastic, and I've been really impressed. The Pens are just that team that just kind of get under your skin regardless. So that could have been more of a mental thing than anything going into this game. It was unfortunate that it wasn't home. But it was kind of cool. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see the Buffalo game on Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that game also.
Yeah. Just a little random sidebar. I have a fourth grade student who plays hockey locally, and his team had made some sort of like quarterfinals or whatever it was. And if they were to win, they would have an opportunity to play at Buffalo, like on the Sabres ice before the Caps game. And it's like a 10-year-old kid. So he was so excited. So he had a chance to do that and then stay to watch the game. So of course the outcome for him, his face when I saw him was like, oh my God, did you see this stuff? I said, yes, I did. So it was really cool to see that. But going into this game, which is a lot better, is on Saturday you have Eller scoring his fourth at 3:40. But then you do have the Sabres tying it up. So it's kind of like this little back and forth, little ping pong game going on. Buffalo was the only goal in second, and in the third period, Favari. I don't know about you, Carol. This number 42 is kind of becoming a favorite of mine. He has just been outstanding to watch. He scores at 5:41, assisted by Ovi and Kuzi. They tied up. Here we go into the shootout. And there is just nothing. There is no other name to say when it comes to the shootout, especially in Buffalo, except for TJ Oshie. This guy just is freaking amazing. And it was gorgeous. It was perfect. It was everything that you'd want in a shootout. And there we go with the Capital win and a VTech Vanacek win.
Yeah, that was an interesting game with the Sabres. The Caps had their number for a while. I think they won 15 out of the last 17 or something like that. And
right.
Buffalo was actually, giving some push, giving some go, showing that they wanted it. They were on I think they said they were 1-9-1 in their last 11 games.
Right.
So they were trying to get off of that, losing spell that they've been on. Buffalo, it seems, can't get out of their own way, trying to rebuild. But, yeah, they actually gave some good push. And, yeah, the shootout with Oshie, I mean, there was someone that mentioned, instead of, putting him first in the shootout, putting him last to put the pressure on the other team. And, I don't know if they were listening to the show, but that's what we saw. And Oshie, I mean, it was just the guys on NHL Network. I'd always love watching the game, getting Joby and Locker's take, and then putting it on NHL Network and get their take. They all remember, Oshie, what he did in the Olympics and everything.
Yeah.
So it was like he just loves you to sleep. Like he's one of the top shootout guys in the league to ever do it. and he's just coasting slowly, like he on a Sunday drive. And then out of nowhere, boom, wrist shot, 5-hole, game
uh,
over. It's like, geez, it's like, and they know it's coming. They know that who he is, but they can't stop it. Just like what Ovi from the Ovi office, they know it's coming, but they've been stopping it this year. But for the most part, they haven't been able to stop it. He's been shooting goals from they had the one time, and then they say he has one goal on a one timer this year. So it's crazy. But Oshie, yeah, it's good seeing him back. His physical nature, even out there, throwing his weight around. And I think that's been the biggest thing that we haven't seen on this. I can't even say law because I mean they're above 500, but these last 2 weeks we haven't seen a physical play from the Capitals with the forecheck and dominating and wearing teams down. And it's on the third that they don't have those skating legs like we saw against Pittsburgh. Still flying late in the game. You start getting them with those hits and going to the body against the glass. They tend to slow down in the third period, and then you can impose your will on the other team, which we've seen the Capitals do many times this season. So, like I said, I'm not worried. I'm just noticing, some things that's going on, but it's early still. As we talk about in every sport, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish. But yeah, I want to see that lockdown defense we were seeing before. I don't ever want to see the defense go away. That's never a good thing.
Absolutely. And I think you're spot on. It's great to see TJ Oshie, TJ Oshie back. Just doing what he does best, whether it's physical or not. He's just been absolutely fantastic, and I'd love to see that. And whether or not we get Backstrom back, that's just going to be a whole game changer. But I have been, again, so impressed with just everybody that has stepped up to the plate. I don't think you can say that there is one player that has been meh and hasn't really stepped up. And we all know how I feel about number 9, but I will give, I will give him credit when it's due, and I don't think that he has done a bad job. So yeah, it's been good. And I think for the team, and I think for just the mental, encouragement for Vanacek, that win was huge for him. I think it's exactly what he needed. Been nothing but impressed with Sammy. We knew it. We knew he had it in him. Unfortunately, there were just some, terrible calls or decisions he had made prior to. But whatever, we've all been there.
I didn't know. He showed me something because I didn't know that he had that in him. Honestly,
Vanacek.
No,
or Sammy.
Vanacek, I just think right now when he gets in there, he doesn't have any, type of chemistry going because Sammy's been playing so well. So he has a chance to get into a rhythm. So when he gets in there, I don't expect him to be sharp as he would be as he was getting the starts like he was before when they were even splitting him. But now with Sammy getting hot as he was, you got to ride the hot goalie and, keep it going. So, Double V, I think he's, even though we haven't seen the best of him lately when he's gotten in there, I still think that he's, still a good goalie. He can be a good goalie for this team, and he might be needed down the stretch. Samsonov has had some injury issues. This is the first time in a while that he's been getting this much of a push, much of a everyday work. So we're going to see how that goes, but you always want to have healthy, goaltenders that's locked in. So I'm hopeful with these, the next couple of weeks, they only have 3 games a week due to the, holidays, and then with the Olympics coming up, I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I swear I miss Robbie. I don't know if they decided they're going to play or they're not, or I don't know what the rule is this year. Do you know about the hockey stuff with the Olympics this year, Anna?
You know what? I don't. I will piggyback on the whole I miss Robbie on that. And the stats and things like that. I honestly, I think for me, it was almost like I gave Sammy an opportunity kind of game by game to say, okay, hey, listen, let's see what you can do. I know you have it in you, because we wouldn't have put him in the position he's in if we didn't feel like he was, a fantastic goalie. It was just like those kind of outside circumstances with COVID and doing, whatever to really make the fans kind of feel very disappointed in his choices. And those are choices off the ice. On the ice, you're looking at someone who's like 6'4", he knows what he's doing. He's focused. He has been impressive. But again, I don't know what's going to take to get on that Sammy bandwagon for myself or for you. Because I still want to pull for Vanchek. I think like what a great opportunity. Like, who cares that we got two great goalies and we're not sure who to put between the pipes in the next game. And I like, there are so many other issues that we could be dealing with, but if that's it, I'll take it.
Yeah, I can't really complain. Like I said, Sammy's been playing well, and you ride the hot hand. And like I said, Double V showed me a lot last year coming in doing what he did with the injury at the goalie position. So, I mean, it's good that Sammy's playing well, and I hope he continues to do that because we're going to need one of them to solidify themselves as the top goalie. So, if he's the hot guy and he's the one that's going to take that next step, that during this hopeful playoff run.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to go out there and shine. He has more experience. He's been in more situations than Double V, so we're going to see what he does. And I'm always going to ride for whoever's in the net and whoever's on the Capital squad.
That's it. I mean, that's truly all you can do. And so I'll be anxious to see how things kind of pan out this week. We have some pretty fantastic teams that we're playing against, including Chicago again tomorrow night. I don't know. I'm assuming Chicago probably have Marc-Andre Fleury between the pipes. I don't know why they wouldn't. But when you're looking at a roster of Taves, Jones, Kane, Fleury, it's pretty significant. And we really hope that the Capitals can show their top guys as well. And I think, we'll see Nick Dowd. I'm trying to think of who was the other person. I think TVR was Trevor Van Riemsdyk was the other one who was out for COVID protocol. I think those two players are going to be back for Chicago, but can't play for Winnipeg. But you know what? Fine, let's see it. But I want to see Nicholas Backstrom out there. I think that's just everybody, like a fan favorite. Who doesn't want to see number 19 back on the ice and healthy? I don't care what he does. I just want to see him back on the ice and healthy.
Yeah, definitely. Because he had that hip injury, had hip surgery in all season. So hopefully he'll be back to the good old Nicky of old that we know and love. Playing 200 feet of hockey, great passes, great defense, and scoring whenever he has to or when he wants to, because it's his choice, because he likes to pass more than shoot. But
absolutely.
Definitely.
So,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I just say I just can't wait to see with him coming back because Kuzi's been playing so well. They're going to put him on the second line. Well, they're probably going to put him on the second line to start everything out. To get him back, maybe even a third line, just to get him back in the groove of things. But I want to be interested to see how the lineup is going to be once you get Nicky back in there. Kuzi's been playing so well. Like I said last year, I pretty much figured it would be a rough season for him coming back, from the cocaine issue.
COVID, yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, and the
COVID, cocaine, whatever you want to call it.
The C word, whichever one you want.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him, taking it to the next level. Realizing that he had to step it up. And I think I talked about it last year that he has to, if you have an addiction like that sometimes athletes, entertainers, whatever, they attribute their success to that substance. So trying to get back in the groove, no longer doing those things. It takes some people a while to get back. Some people don't get back. And, it's good to see that he's, taking it in stride and was able to get his game back and actually excelling and playing as well as he was when he was on the stuff.
Absolutely. And I think that's so important. And I think that now that I, think about things with Chicago, and Winnipeg, we have to think that Tom Wilson's not going to be in the lineup. I was hoping the injury wasn't going to be enough to keep him home in DC, but if he didn't travel, it sounds like he is not in the lineup for Chicago or Winnipeg, which seriously sucks. An upper injury for Tommy is, well, personally, I hate it. But for, just the team in general, he's been quite a force. He's really made a name for himself. So I hate to see that happen. But we'll see. And if Backstrom can come back and that can be a focus and that could be a great kind of, all the attention goes that way, I'm all for it. We have Chicago on Wednesday and on Friday night, Winnipeg. So I think with Winnipeg, I think our big thing is going to be seeing Brendan Dillon in a Jets uniform. That's hard to swallow. I really like that kid. I thought I liked him when he was on the Sharks and then he was on the Caps and now he's with the Jets and that's okay. But they're 13-5. So another team that you just can't, assume that we're just going to, oh yeah, we've got this. No, and they're playing the peg, so come on. It's you just got to give it your all and hope for the best. And let's just hope they play their 90 minutes of hockey or 60 minutes of hockey, excuse me. And let's hope Backstrom is out there as well.
No doubt, no doubt. That's all we can hope for. Get healthy, keep playing good hockey, and get ready for the push it now for the postseason. Get ready for the All Star break, and however the Olympic stuff going to fall out. We'll find that out. None of us will look at it and talk about it next week. But then let the folks know what you got going on before you get out of here. We got Dujanay waiting in the wings to talk about this Washington football team.
There's a lot to talk about. Power Play podcast. You can see us on. Definitely, I think the best way is on Podbean, but I would say reach out to see us on Facebook. We are on your guys' Facebook page as well. Gil and I just, chat everything Capitals and are always open to any kind of guest that wants to come on and give their opinions on Capitals chat.
No doubt, no doubt. Appreciate you taking the time out to, join the show on a Tuesday night, have things going on. So appreciate it. Be check out enjoy hopefully a Caps victory in Chicago tomorrow. And we'll see you next week and hopefully be talking about another winning week for the Capitals.
Absolutely. Have a great night and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
All right, have a good night. Appreciate it. All right,
bye.
Dujanay. All right, have a good night. Dujanay, you can go ahead and turn your camera on. We go ahead and bring you in and get ready to talk about this Washington football team. It's now 6-7. The 4-game winning streak came to an abrupt halt. If you tuned into the post game that I did, I put it on Scott Turner. I'm sorry. His game plan, I felt the Jay Gruden chill go down my spine when I saw him go away from everything that worked for the last 4 weeks, come out passing the ball against a team that has pass rushers returning from injury that are chomping at the bit, and you're down to your fourth string center, and you decide that you want to say, hey, let's go against everything that's been working, time of possession, controlling the ball, running the ball, feeding Antonio Gibson, and let's throw the ball and see what happens. Well, we saw what happens. And then when they finally, after Coach Rivera, I figured ran a riot act and maybe told all of them that they was going to be walking home even though it was a home game, they wouldn't even let them drive their cars home. He was going to make them walk home just because how badly and poorly they were playing. And they woke up. Then there was a glimmer of hope when they scored and got the 2-point conversion. And then, as I said in the postgame, I'm going to take a little bit of responsibility for this because on the pregame, I actually said the F word and said Antonio Gibson had done a great job in the last 4 games of not putting the ball on the ground. And then, lo and behold, in a crucial time in the game where the team was seizing momentum and could have took a stranglehold going into the fourth quarter, fumbled the ball at a crucial time and gave the Cowboys another 3 points, which kind of squelched the momentum they had been building and had to rebuild it up in the fourth quarter, which they did, but they came up short. And I feel like that play, kind of, when I saw that play happen, I was like, I don't know now. But then they gave up a good fight in the end. Cole Holcomb, we bragged about him 2 weeks ago, about his coverage skills, improving. turn around, get a pick six to get him back in the game, and unfortunately, like I said, came up a little short. So, Dujanay, it's good to have you on the show as always, my brother. That's my quick synopsis of what I saw. What did you see, sir?
I saw a team that was flat, and I saw a team that, um, everybody knows, and I tweeted this out. Everybody knows that to take advantage of an aggressive defense, you take advantage or you use their aggression against them. You do that by rolling and having them flowing the offense one way and having and going the other way, getting the offensive line to flow right, and you maybe run a counter back to the left, or you run a boot, a naked boot to the left, or vice versa. Get them flowing left to right. I thought Scott Turner in some of the instances, if he had done some of these other things, those screens would have worked. But this is on Scott Turner, 100%. Um, those things weren't happening. Yeah, I get it. They got some guys back, and Dallas's defense up front looks very well. And I'm going to tell you, without that, and if you can counter that, their back end is not nearly as good as they were made to look. Didn't have to do anything because the front seven was getting there easily because basically there was a telegraphed deal of offense. Just drop straight back and let Heineke work his magic, or it's going to fail. They ran the running game was up the middle, not the strong suit, not against this defense, not as what they showed early. Um, and I thought that's where they got themselves into trouble. You turn the ball over 4 times, you're not going to win the ball game. And it seemed to me that Dallas understood the assignment, although I'm not for coaches guaranteeing victories for various reasons. And I don't give a crap what fan tries to, fan or media person that tries to say that was okay. It's not. And they understood the assignment though, especially the defense understood the assignment. Now let's not get it twisted. On the opposite side, I thought Washington's defense did an excellent job against an offense that's been floundering. He's Kellen Moore is, if you want to call it, he's Scott Turner Jr. because that offense for the whole entire season is never have a killer instinct with all that talent they have over there. Give Washington's D credit, but in the second half of that ball game, Washington's defense had been out there the whole entire game. They really should have put their quote unquote dinks in the dirt and put them away in that third quarter. I like some of the things. I really thought Heineke was hurt after the sack fumble. He wasn't right after that. And I honestly would have gone with Kyle Allen right after that. Now, it's funny how when they brought Kyle Allen in, there were some changes to how they were going about business on offense. I don't know why you weren't doing that earlier, but, it's Scott Turner, okay? It took someone to throw hands for this team to get angry. And that's what I don't like. And I say team as a whole, because obviously the defense understood the assignment. They kept Washington from being blowed out, which they should have been. It should have been 35 to almost 40 points. If this is an old Washington team. Defense held up their end of the bargain. They weren't helped by their offense. And then they're still able to come back in this game, which, again, people can say what they want, and I understand this rivalry and how the boys fans and Washington fans are. I've been in this and been a part of this and been a fan of this team as well in the past. But here, really should have put these guys away, and you do something that's disrespectful when there was really nothing wrong with that hit. He was well within the lines, deserved to be pushed. That's what happens. And, you're now a runner at quarterback outside of the pocket. You're going to get hit. Old boy wants to come away from out of nowhere. And I really thought that was the catapult that really almost cost Dallas this football game. But like we talked about, too many turnovers early, and that Gibson turnover, I believe, is the big turnover that really shut this whole thing down and really turned the tide for them, because I felt like they were on a roll after that. And I don't fault Ron Rivera for putting him on the sideline for the rest of the game. And to be quite honest with you, I think he deserves to get some touches. I also just think that some of these other guys deserve to get some touches, more touches as well, until he can go to the school of Tiki Barber and learn how to secure the football and not continue to put it on the ground in the most crucial times when they actually have something going and killing momentum. That's it's unfortunate. If they come out and play well in the beginning, we're probably likely talking about a Washington win. Because if you take what they did in the late third quarter through the fourth quarter offensively and what they did all day on defense, you got yourself a win, because offensively Dallas didn't do a very good job at all. They were intermittent, and they're intermittent in almost every game.
I definitely agree with that. With Gibson, coach actually had I watched one of his pressers from after practice or after he watched tape, and he made a point that I didn't get into, that I didn't process with me. He was saying that most runners, when like with him, most of his fumbles has come after contact and when he's bracing himself to hit the ground, and the defenders are still grabbing for the ball because the running back generally, shifts his weight or his focus into hitting the ground to make sure he doesn't lose the ball or something crazy happens. So me remembering that, this is only his second year being full-time running back, he still has a learning curve. Granted, he can't put the ball on the ground, 6 fumbles, 4 loss. That's not a good ratio. And then, like you said, it's been at crucial times. But I still say, you still feeding the ball. You still keep him in there. You had, hopefully, McClissick will be back this week. You got Patterson got some go. Had the other guy, I don't know why I keep on wanting to call him Thompson. I don't know why. I think it's Johnson or Jackson. I don't know why I can't remember, because I just read an article about him earlier today. But he took advantage of the opportunity that he had. With Turner, yeah, and with them, when Kyle Allen came in, Thomas, what's going on, Thomas? He actually chimed on the Facebook Live, so he said when Allen ran for the first down, he should have kept him in the game from that point. Because that was, kind of weird. He comes in, Heineke's hurt, boom, first down to play, and they hadn't been doing anything, and boom, he comes back out. And then we go back to the stagnant offense that's not moving. So I was like, yeah.
Did you notice what they did on offense, though?
Yeah,
that's what I want to point out. That was totally different than what they were doing with Taylor the whole entire time. Now all of a sudden you're ready to run boots.
You ready to run naked boots.
Where the heck was that?
Yeah, I didn't see any zone read. I didn't see any. But they honestly, they weren't running the ball. Like I said, Dallas defense was ready. I'm just mad, like you said, the screen game on that deflection. If you go back and look at the play, if he would have got the ball, and I know if there's a lot of things, but if he'd have cleared that man, Samuel had pretty much a clear path for a touchdown on that screenplay. So Turner had the right thought process. It was just bad execution.
No, it was a good play.
Yeah, it was a good play.
That was a good play.
Yeah, Heinicke, if he'd have fake, maybe got him up in the air, then threw the ball. But with the athletes, the freakish athletes they have, they took advantage of it. And batted the ball when I was in a huge momentum swing. But yeah, another thing you got to give a shout out to Cam Sims, especially after McLaurin went out with the concussion. He made a hell of a play with that catch in the end zone. Heinicke,
but do we give him a shout out? Because we know he can do that.
Yeah, but he had
don't count on Cam Sims to catch basic balls. You want him to catch. If you want an acrobatic catch on the line and you need points or you need a first down, that's your guy. Don't ask him to go run no basic route, no basic hook or in and out, and catch a 3-yard pass or a 5-yard pass. He's gonna drop it every time. We know he can do this.
Yeah.
So. That's his thing. That's what he does.
Yeah, I don't get it. He makes the improbable catches and misses the easy ones. So I don't know. It's like a lot of folks are upset about DeAndre Carter with the pass that he, dropped. It could have been a huge play, a first down, maybe more, that was that can extended the drive and got the momentum going. So I mean, but you gotta, like I said, I took a step back. They were on a 4-game winning streak, dominating all 4 of those games. One on Monday night, short week, traveled across the country. Coach brought this up in his press conference. Across the country, beat the Raiders, then come back and then have a division game against the Cowboys, the top team, top offense in the a top team in the division, top offense in the league. And he said they came out a little flat. And he felt like they was, I don't like the word they use, but said he was tired, basically from all of that, the Monday night traveling across the country, the COVID stuff, everything that's going on. So I mean, I get it. And he went in, read them a riot rack at halftime, riot act, and they came out and did what they had to do. Unfortunately, came up short, but it's it's not over. Still got 4 division games left. Still, their destiny is in their control. Still, the division might not be in their grasp. Still could be. The Cowboys got to play the Eagles and the Giants again. We know how those games go. So it's going to be interesting. Still hold the number 7 spot in the playoff. So this team is still growing. Hopefully, McLaurin will be healthy for the game. I haven't heard anything about a concussion protocol yet. I know he's still going through it.
He's still in that.
Yeah, I know.
He's still in that. So we'll see.
Then I gotta give a segment for the COVID ambulance unit that we have right now. I actually have a list of the players that's on the COVID protocol list. Kendall Fuller, as of a few hours ago, and Tim Settle just added to the list. Jonathan Allen is on the list. William Bradley King, David Mayo, and Tamarick Hemingway are all on the COVID protocol list right now. They all been vaccinated, I believe. So if they get 2 tests and a negative test in their process of going through it, they'll be eligible to play Sunday. But just in case, the Washington has made a couple of roster moves. They signed Nate Orchard, defensive end, Hercules Matafa, defensive tackle. Also signed Daryl Roberts off the practice squad. And I saw, and I haven't been able to confirm, I'll check with you, DJ. Jeremy Reeves signed back with the team. I saw a tweet that he put out, and I got the impression that he was back with the team, but I haven't seen anything on the web.
I haven't seen anything official either.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen anything about that at all. That could be a possibility, but I haven't seen anything about that at all.
Yeah, I said so.
And that's another thing. They had 10 people out. I mean, they've had some people out, and I know some folks use that as an excuse. It's no excuse for me because this team still balled with backups to the backups that were in on defense. They still ball. So there's no excuse. You don't turn the ball over 4 times. And Scott Turner, you don't come out here going all Jay Gruden on us and running that nonsense that you were running. I just don't understand what you thought was going to go on there. But, it obviously did not work in the first half. They didn't take advantage of things that were there. That Dallas is aggressive, and sometimes they're reckless aggressive. They're looking to make a meeting at the quarterback or whoever's back there. They're very disruptive, but there's ways to slow that down. You can slow that down for a defense real quick. Washington's seen that happen to them several times against opposing teams when they've gotten aggressive. And, that aggressiveness a lot of times has a lot of guys out of position. And on that defense, the way that they run, 9 times out of 10, you're going to catch somebody with their pants down if you do it right, because they're coming, swarming wide open, and you can use that downforce against them and be able to zip right on around them. There's just so many things they could have done that they did not take advantage of in the first half, causing turnovers and really setting them back. But it's really amazing that you're only looking at 27 points that was given up. Most of that was not scored by an offense. You had a couple defensive things there. That's pretty impressive for the defense when they really honestly didn't have any help until late in the game.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. Like I said, the game plan on the offense, I don't know what he was thinking about. But for the most part, the defense, did their thing. And Greg Olsen made a great point with the the inexperience of the defensive ends that we had in there. If you notice a couple of times when Dak, the 2 times that he did do the zone read and kept the ball, the defensive end crashed down, didn't stay in contain or anything. So, like you said, Dallas had a good game plan, and knowing that they used the inexperience of the players that were on the field against them, which you can't, it is what it is. They out there getting experience now, learning on the fly. It was a division game. The best thing is that we see them in the following week. So
I think it's going to be a good game too, man. That whole thing with dude getting ejected and you throwing hands and Dallas was up on there, brought in benches, antagonizing the crowd. It's going to be a problem. But like I said, Dallas understood the assignment and came out from the jump with an attitude. Washington did not. I get all that traveling, but look, bro, this is a division game, and you got to come out prepared and come out knocking some heads. This is, folks on this team always talking about how they understand the rivalry, but when the game comes, they don't understand the rivalry. You get what I'm saying? Like, they don't show up, but yet Dallas seems to find a way to come in and with attitude and kick someone right in the nuts every time. And I think at the end of the game, once folks started throwing hands, Washington got a little irritated because, see, Dallas was hoping that Washington would lay down. And they didn't want to put them down, but they were hoping that they would just lay down. And they were getting really aggravated that they didn't lay down. It was very obvious. That's why it got chippy, and that's why some hands were thrown.
Yeah,
but that's going to carry over.
Oh, it's definitely going to carry over. And I didn't realize how upset the folks were about the bench situation, and a lot of folks talking about how could Snyder let that happen. I said it.
I don't care.
So I said it on a couple of posts that what it was when Seattle was here for the Monday Night Football game, the heated benches didn't work. Seattle informed the league. So Dallas being preventive maintenance, even though it wasn't that cold out, they chose to use this to take advantage of bring their cowboy benches to the stadium. This was not.
Oh, it was a little bit of shade in that too. Now this is all part of the rivalry. Now this is Jerry Jones. He was talking crap earlier in the week, so I expect to see something in return when we get to 2 weeks from now from the Washington football team.
Yes.
I really do. I think this gamesmanship, this is what we need. But they've got to do, but Washington has to show up and understand the assignment. Like Dallas understood the assignment when they came into FedEx with all those people in there that ain't never been to Dallas, but yet they're Dallas fans. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic.
It was
in that stadium, they understood the assignment.
Yeah,
we did not.
They definitely did. That's why I think that the game is. I with Rivera saying about the travel and stuff. I can feel that because we saw this team in that 4-game winning streak. They were ready from the break. So to not see that this week, I can say, okay, I can see that, especially coming off of the Monday night, then a short week, travel across the country to Vegas, coming back, game planning for the big rivalry game. So I get that. So as you said, in 2 weeks,
a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, in 2 weeks, we should.
That game plan was trash.
Oh, the game plan was trash. Although I was trash the game plan from the break. I'm not making excuses for Turner, but I'm just like, I could see it. But yeah, Turner, I don't. Like I say, every time I start building confidence in him, he makes me feel like Jay Gruden's here again. And just I don't like that.
It's like he got scared in this game with this being a rivalry game to not screw this up. And it's like it's not your job to not screw it up, but don't put Taylor in positions to be bad Taylor. Yeah. Like you put him in so many positions to where he turned in. Everybody's like, well, he did these things. Yes. But his offensive coordinator put him in a position to where he's going to go back and revert to bad habits. And it was bad Heineke because Scott Turner forced him to be bad Heineke because the game plan was absolute horrific and he was getting his butt handed to him back there. Like, how many things you got to escape to have nobody available, people dropping balls, or you're getting dropped? Like, what do you expect? You cannot force players into doing things that they're not good at. put them in position to be able to excel. And Scott didn't do that. It's on him. It's all on
Yeah,
him.
I saw they put this one on him. The game plan was flawed. Just got a comment from Brute Bernard. Said true fan. He was responding to you saying that the Cowboys fans was deep in the stadium. Say true fans have walked away. All right, I'm gonna just say this real quick. If you're a true fan of the team, you're gonna ride the team no matter what. I got folks that's upset because they changed the name. Oh, they're always gonna be the R word. They're always gonna be this. I can't believe you call. You gotta change with the times and adapt to what's going on. If folks choose to walk away, that's your option. That great, do that. I would rather you walk. Yeah, I would rather you walk away. You know what I'm saying? Than you be on social media whining and crying every week. To be honest, most of y'all fans would not be happy, even if this team was shutting out teams 50-0 and Taylor's throwing for 400 yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. The defense then got 3 pick sixes and sacked the quarterback 10 times. Y'all still wouldn't be happy. So if you want to roll, cool.
There's a football team up the road. There's a football team up the road.
Yeah.
Go to Baltimore. It's not a problem. If you don't like something, then don't like it. That's fine. Nobody's telling you gotta like it. But you got options. And there's a football team up the road called the Baltimore Ravens. Go don the purple. It's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I get all the frustration. I get it, but some of the excuses and some of the logic behind you being mad or whatever, take it somewhere. Take it to the fan. Take it to, them other radio stations that actually listen to that stuff. If you understand X's and O's, we're breaking down what happened in this game. It isn't the Snyder curse. It isn't, whatever extravagant reason you want to come up with or whatever backwards logic. It's X's and O's. It's execution. It's game plan. It's scheming. It's watching tape. It's watching film. It's executing on the field. And that's what there was a lack of in the first half of this game. Like Coach said in his press conference, it was a tale of 2 halves. First half, they came out. Dallas was obviously the better team. Second half, Washington came out, and we saw what they did. They fought, even being down as big as they were. All the stuff that happened in the game with the defense taking over. Micah Parsons, they talking about him being defensive rookie of the year and player of the year. And only ever played it at Lawrence Taylor. They already crowning him all this and that. And they still fought through and should have, could have, still won this game. So I can't wait for in Dallas because we saw what, Washington did to Dallas last year in Dallas. Granted, Dak wasn't there, but as we talked about, it was a missed opportunity. Dak had a couple of passes that should have been picked off that hit defenders in the hands that they didn't take advantage of, which was something else that was helping them on that 4-game winning streak, the turnovers and, forcing the turnovers, getting better field position and getting extra possessions, which is how they were leading in time of possession, almost 36 minutes, opposed to 24 minutes for the opponents on that 4-game winning streak. So it's all a work in progress. They had 4 games that they played excellent. They played perfect. They played mistake-free pretty much football. And then we had 1 week where they didn't. And now folks was all over the place. Only Washington football fans can have 4 wins and have 1 loss, and the next thing you know, we need to fire this person. They're like, come on now.
And I think you have to really look at it too. Like, this team played very well in 4 games, and they had a lot of guys being rotated in and out. It really speaks to the depth of this football team. Like I said, one team this past weekend understood the assignment, and the other one didn't fully understand the assignment until it was some disrespect thrown around, and then they got angry on both sides of the ball. The team got angry. And that attitude needed to happen at the beginning, the onset. And Dallas' defense from the onset had an attitude. And in some respects, their offense did that as well. In some respects. But like I said, they are an intermittent football team on the offensive side of the ball. And like we talked about, there were plenty of opportunities that Washington had. Their defense gave them opportunities to score. Plenty of opportunities. There were plenty of times that throughout that onslaught in the beginning that they had the ball, an opportunity to go down and get some points. And it did not happen. Whether you can talk to execution, like we talked about. It's Scott Turner. but execution was poor. And again, one team understood the assignment, and they came out and they backed Mr. Jay Gruden 2.0, Mike McCarthy, and his guarantee. It was successful this time, but like I said, I'm not for guarantees.
I think that's what hurt the most, that he actually said it. Coach actually, went out there and, said that, hey, that's a mistake. Our guys are going to be ready. He's making it about him, not about the team. And then to have them come out there and, lose that game, to me, see, if I was the coach, oh, man, they came out flat like that, or they running, this ain't even basketball, but they running suicide drills the whole damn practice, dog. Like, I go to the media and back you guys and tell them that was a mistake. And this is how you guys come out. And like, come on, like Turner. Oh man, I wanted to ride down to the stadium. Though if the traffic wasn't bad, y'all might have seen me in the booth with my hands around that dude's neck. Like, what are you doing? Why would you go against everything that's been working the last 4 weeks and decide, hey, let's try this and see what happens?
Because that is not what they have been doing the last 4 weeks.
Not at all.
That's not even close to what they have been doing in the last 4 weeks. And then I'm like, okay, they overwhelm you in the first drive, right? Defense was really getting after it. They were putting pressure on Heineke. They did a lot of things right there. Okay, got it. Now you see what they're doing and you see the aggression. Maybe you want to knock your head against the wall one more time. But the third time, there should have been some adjustment to take advantage of the aggressiveness. And they never did that at all. Until Mr. Kyle Allen comes in and we have that set of plays. I thought he should have stayed in, but it is what it is. And they'll have to live with it for another 2 weeks. And they'll have to get this job done. I believe it's against the Eagles.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, what do you think about this matchup with the 6-7 Eagles coming off a bye? They've been up and down all season. What's their quarterback? Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he was out the last game, and who was it that came in that gave them the win?
It's Minshew Mania, baby.
Yeah, that's what it is. I got a Philly fan that was telling me about I lost track. I've been so caught up with everything that's going on. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting match. I'm not sure if Hurts is playing or Minshew is playing. I just hope this team, I don't know who's going to dress with all these COVID situations and injuries that we've been having. The injury bug has been ravaging most of the Washington, D.C. sports teams right now, especially the Red Washington football team. I almost said it. But what do you see in store for this game on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles?
Oh, man. I think it's going to be interesting to see whether McLaurin's going to be able to play or not, whether he's going to pass this concussion protocol. I don't think it makes a big deal because I think you have guys in Dami Brown, Carter that has been able to make plays. Sims has been making plays, spectacular plays, in the passing game. If Scott Turner can figure out what he's going to do and do what he's been doing, that's been working for the 4 games, I think you can see them really be able to probably get a win. Right now, though, after seeing what I saw, you're talking about 10 guys possibly being out, and then you have more backups to replace backups who are already in. It's going to be a tall order, and it depends on whether Jalen Hurts is in. Now, Jalen hasn't looked like Jalen of last year either. His running ability, though, is what is concerning. Outside of that, though, he hasn't looked like he did last year. He's been throwing a lot of interceptions as well. I think I'd rather see Jalen than Minshew, but either one can give you the ball. But we know how this works with NFC East division games. Sometimes these teams that we see weeks before that don't look that good, all of a sudden find their Super Bowl stride against Washington. Hopefully that is not the case, though. I look for it to be a good game. I'm not sure Washington is going to be able to overcome, though. It'll be a close one, but I'm not picking them to win. Um, and I just, with all of what's going on, all the missing pieces, you're going to have a good fight. I just think that they're going to come up short. Um, and it's not an excuse because there's other teams that are dealing with, I know there's people out there that don't want to call it a COVID outbreak, but it is what it is. You got guys, people missing for COVID. It's a COVID outbreak. And it's not sheepish either. So you can kick that can down the road as well. Um, I think it's going to be tough, and it's going to be tough for a lot of teams because a lot of teams are missing players. But I think it's a tall order to ask. Especially all of what they've been through. Some guys are banged up. We'll see if Taylor will be okay. I think that elbow is going to be okay, and we'll see what happens there. But it's going to be tough without McLaurin on the field, and other guys are going to have to step up, and we don't know that. You know what I mean? They are. Diami Brown is an unknown. Sims is still an unknown because he's inconsistent. Carter has shown great flashes, and really the guy who's really stepped up lately to be the kind of third down, go-to has been Humphrey.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really interested to see how these guys step up if McLaurin's unable to go, and then who's going to step up at the tight end position. Bates made a couple mistakes that were costly as far as false starts, and little penalties. We'll see what he can do. I'd really like to see Ricky Seals-Jones get the wheels back under him. And I guess I'm leaving out, Samuel, but we don't even know what that's going to be like because we don't know what his pitch count is and how they're going to use him. It'd be nice if they could use him and open him up and use him fully because I think he's a key piece to really making this offense tough at the wide receiver position to really key in on anyone. Because I think they have plenty of young talent below, even without McLaurin. But you add him into the mix, man, and you really got you got some things you can do that can really throw the defense off. So I just think it's a lot going on. And it'll be a good, hard-fought game, I think, but I just feel like they're going to come up short. Probably a 3-point loss at the most.
I feel you. I think they're gonna find a way to win. I think coach is gonna find a way to get these guys motivated and possibly with Sweat, hopefully be back this week. McClissick could be back. McLaurin question mark. But I feel like someone's gonna step up. Like I said, Humphreys has stepped up last week, making basically the only receiver that caught anything in the first half. And I think his experience and the rapport that he can build with Taylor. And like I said, Carter's been playing good for the most part. He had to, drop yesterday, but for the most part, he's been playing, well. Sims, like you said, when he gets a chance to get in there, he makes something happen. So I'm still riding for him and think that they're going to be able to pull it out. But, yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough feat with all the injuries and the COVID situations. And Philly coming off a bye week, so that's also something I got to take into it, too. So they've been watching tape for over a week, for over 2 weeks. They watched the Cowboys game this past week, so they're going to try to exploit some of those same things that the Cowboys did. So it's definitely going to be an uphill battle, but we're going to see what fight this team has, and I think the fight that we've seen that they're going to find a way to get the W like we've seen them do in that 4-game winning streak. Found a way, no matter what adversity, late turnover or whatever, they find a way to win. I'm thinking that's the real moxie of this team is that's what they're built like, and I think they're going to find a way because they know the destiny is in their hands. They know if they handle their business this week, and by miracle maybe the Giants beat the Cowboys, then next week it'll be a major game that can really mean something in the division and go from there. So hopefully to take it one game at a time, and they're gonna go out there and realize the opportunity they lost the week before by not going out there and being ready to play 60 minutes of football, and go out there and do it this week.
Yeah, and these division games, you can never count out anyone. These NFC East games are really interesting because it seems like even the down teams find a way to get up for their NFC East opponents. So it will be interesting because I don't think you can sit up here and say that Dallas is going to come out and absolutely come out and win and roll the Giants, because these East games are weird, and we could see a Giants team that we haven't seen in a little bit over the last couple of weeks show up, especially with the intermittentness of the Dallas offense and unhealthy Zeke. Pollard is out, so they kind of lost that scat back. I don't think Clement is up to the task of those two backs at all, and he showed that pretty much in the game. But yeah, I mean, anything's possible in these NFC East matchups, and I'm definitely looking forward to it for sure. It's going to be an interesting next end of the season here as we start navigating through all of this, starting with next week.
Definitely. I can't wait to see how it all falls out and how it all boils down. Who makes the playoffs, who doesn't, who wins the division, and who doesn't. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I know I got the NBA roundtable waiting in the wings. Let the folks know what you got going on, Dude, before you get out of here.
Well, you can check out the Not Bland Show. It's all that back there. It is on Ghostcast. So if you are an Apple subscriber, go ahead to the Ghostcast app. You can type in Not Bland Show, and you'll find that card there. The interesting thing about this app is that you too can have a voice. There's plenty of cards there. They have a Washington, and they have it labeled as the old name. So you can go there and you can express yourself to everyone there on Ghostcast. Have your own take on things, and have people comment and listen to you as well. They also give out Bula, which is a money or a coin that they use to have as an incentive. And when you get a certain amount, you get to cash it in. So it's a fun app. And again, go check the Not Bland Show out. We talked some NHRA in the beginning, and we talked some of the Washington Cowboys game. And then we talk about those two late games with Buffalo and the Bucks and the 49ers and the Bengals as well, and give my thoughts on that. Hopefully this week we'll have the breakdown show, and you can catch that on sportsjourney.com. There's a link there. Also, there's a wonderful link that has been given to us by Sports OTHP as well, and you can click on that, find it there, and listen, and we will hopefully have that up on Friday if everything goes well. But again, man, thank you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure. And hopefully next week we can talk about some W's instead of this.
Yeah. It's always good. Victory Monday is always good. I mean, we got spoiled at 4 of them in a row. So, one, can't be mad. As long as they get back to winning ways, everything will be all right.
Yep, it'll be good for business. We need it, right?
Yeah, we need something to talk about. We was talking about Heineke playing so well and the defense playing great. Had to have some controversy to talk about. So, hey, it's good. Yeah. Week 14 always supplies something interesting. But I appreciate you taking the time, man. You go ahead, have a good night, and we'll check you next week or whenever we back to get you back on.
All right, brother.
All right, take it easy. All right, we're going to have an NBA roundtable and go ahead and fire your cameras up. Go ahead and get ready. I know you've been waiting to talk about these Wizards that's right now in 7th place in the Eastern Conference, 2nd place in their division. Currently, I believe they're 15-13 now after the loss yesterday. I asked a question last week, with Bradley Beal coming back, that disrupt some of the chemistry with the team and the fight that we saw before. But now I don't feel like I see that same fight, that same hustle that we saw when Bill was out and we got off to that hot start. So I'll let you guys ponder that and break down and recap the last week and talk everything NBA, man.
All right, well, thank you, Carol, and welcome to the Wizards Roundtable, everybody. We'll start off by introducing the guys. First off, we have Champ. Ken, how are you doing, man?
I'm all right. I was feeling a little blah earlier. The last couple of days have been rough, but took a nice hot shower, and now I'm relaxed and chill and everything, ready to talk some Wizards basketball with you guys. Brian, how you doing, man? I missed you last week, bro.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad to be back on. I miss doing it as well. I'm happy to be back doing the Wizards Roundtable. I'm bummed I missed last week too, but
and in the man cave, by the way.
Yeah, yes. Also, I should add that I am live from Robbie Gross's man cave as I'm house sitting for him while he's out of town. Also with us tonight we have Arun. Arun, I don't think we have you on camera, but Do we have? How are you doing, Arun?
I'm good. My camera's not working, so I can't show RG3s with me right now. Fortunately, you have a video.
That's a bummer. I'm sure everybody here wants to see RG3. I'm sure that's a real bummer. But it's good to have you on, Arun. Obviously I wasn't here last week, as Champ was saying. But last week there was a Wizards game on during this show, and the Wizards lost that game to the Pacers, 116 to 110. The Wizards fought back towards the end, but ultimately lost that game. I'm sure you guys have already talked about that game, so we'll just get into the 3 games that have been played since then, against the Pistons, which was a win, and the losses to the Jazz and the Nuggets. So we'll start with the win against the Pistons, which I think going into this game, I thought, just from a neutral perspective, this was a game that the Wizards could use as like a get-right game. I thought they were just going to like go to Detroit, kick some ass, and come away with a win. An easy win at that, but this proves to be a much more difficult game than that. It looked like the Wizards had it in the bag, but then the Pistons came back in regulation towards the end and forced overtime. And then in overtime, Kyle Kuzma hits the game-winning shot with 0.6 seconds left on the clock. A huge shot from Kuzma, who was admittedly, he was talking a little spicy with the crowd. He's from Flint, so he's from the Detroit area. He's from Michigan, so he was talking a little spicy with the crowd. I kind of thought that was cool. But a huge shot from Kuzma. Again, this was not a game that I thought this game was admittedly going to be pretty easy for the Wizards, but it wasn't the case. They still get the win. Huge shot for Kuzma. I'll start with you, Champ. What were your thoughts? Did you see the Pistons game? What were your thoughts on it?
This game made me very, very worried for this road trip they're going on, because of the fact that this is one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference, the Detroit Pistons. And they only managed to win on a last-second three-point shot from Kyle Kuzma with 0.6 of a second left in overtime against one of the worst teams in the East. This game was like you said, this is supposed to be a get-back game. You don't get back by making a last-second shot against one of the worst teams in the league, in the conference. You get back by absolutely running them out their own gym. So, granted, yes, they got the win. And Kyle Kuzma, by the way, was the leading scorer with 26 points. He had 1 point better than Beal. So this is one of those games that really was like, okay, we won, but I'm worried because of the fact that they literally had to be taken to the limit by one of the worst teams in their conference in order to get the W. And they're about to go on a very long road trip, which is including a West Coast trip. And they just didn't seem like they had the same fight that they usually have. So, yes, they got the win, but this was a worrisome game for me.
Yeah, not to mention, a couple of mistakes here and there, like Bradley Beal going into the backcourt towards the end of the game. It was a huge mistake, almost cost the Wizards the game in that moment. This was an ugly win. I mean, you'll take it. I was here. I watched this game at Robbie's house with Robbie and some friends of ours, and they were all very happy the Wizards won, but still, we wanted to be a little easier against the Pistons. Arun, do you have anything to add on this game?
Yeah, the Wizards were down by as many as 14 points in the first half, and in this, they could have closed out the game. And as you mentioned, Bradley Beal had that backcourt violation, he had another turnover in overtime, and he's second in the league in clutch turnovers with 10 in the NBA, and the only guy that has more turnovers in the clutch is Russell Westbrook. So that's not a good look for Beal. He's only gotten to the free throw line 4 times in the clutch. Kyle Kuzma, though, is the most clutch player from the Wizards. Maybe he should have been socially distancing from the talking trash from those fans because he caught COVID shortly thereafter from this game. And but Kuzma, definitely the most clutch Wizard this season with that huge 3. And at least the Wizards got a win, because if they lost the Pistons, that would have been even worse.
Yeah, Arun, always the master of the transition there, because that's exactly what I was going to talk about next. Kyle Kuzma was the star of this game, but unfortunately, due to the health and safety protocols, he was out. I think he's still out as of now. He's still out and in the health and safety protocols. So he was out for the next game against the Utah Jazz for the Wizards. So they had a couple days off. They didn't play Thursday or Friday. They played Saturday against Utah. It was their last home game for a while. They lost by 25 points, 123-98. Honestly, I watched a little bit of this game. The Wizards actually did not look bad in the first half. If I remember correctly, they actually had a 1-point lead at halftime. But then in the second half, it was pretty much all Utah. A great defensive effort by Utah in the third quarter, especially. They only allowed 18 Wizards points. And then they had a great offensive effort in the fourth quarter. They had 42 points. So Utah is just a great team. Donovan Mitchell had 28 points for them. Yeah, this is just a great Utah team. All 4 of their 5 starters scored in double figures. Two of their guys off the bench, Hassan Whiteside, had 18 points as well. Utah is nothing to mess with. Arun, I'll go to you first. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, as you mentioned, the Wizards had a 1-point lead at halftime. Beal only had 4 points, and then in the third quarter, Beal had double figures, but the Wizards got outscored by 13 points. And I'm looking at the box score, and I remember Beal again was turnover prone with 6 of them. And I think the turning point of the game was when Harrell came into the game. He didn't have the size to match up with Gobert, and even Hassan Whiteside had a monster game, 8 of 9 from the field for 18 points. The Wizards couldn't protect the rim at all against the Jazz, and it was pretty much game over. The Wizards didn't make this close in garbage time, and this game was a huge blowout. And I guess they didn't get much from Bertans again, or Beal again, 1 for 3 from 3-point range. You have to make your threes against Utah because Gobert's going to take away everything inside. 8 of 25 from 3-point range is not going to get it done.
Yeah, and going back to Gobert, I know a lot of people are trying. Like, I've seen people say he's overrated, things like that. I mean, he's one of the best defensive players this league has seen in a while, Rudy Gobert. I don't know why people want to hate on him. Maybe it's because he was the guy who brought COVID to the league. I don't know. But he gets a lot of hate. I feel that's unnecessary. Rudy Gobert is a lockdown center. Yeah, this was just a tough game for the Wizards. You have nothing from Bertans, like you said. I'm looking at the box score now. Only 6 points from him. Al Neto had 13 points off the bench. And yeah, Contavious Caldwell-Pope had 0 points. So yeah, not a great offensive showing from the Wizards in this one. Champ, I remember you said in our group chat you didn't really get a chance to see this game. Do you have anything to add on this Utah game? I know you said you didn't get a chance to see it. You said it had a combo of things going on. But do you have anything you want to add on it?
The bottom line is this. Utah came into our gym, and I know this is usually a family-friendly podcast, but I'm going to go non-family-friendly. The Jazz came into our house and whooped our ass, basically. They just whooped our ass, figuratively and literally. That second half, from looking at the box score, was absolutely crazy. And the fact that both centers for the Jazz both had double-doubles. Gobert had 20 with 11 boards, and Whiteside had 18 with 14 boards should tell you something about how good this team was in the middle of the floor. Clearly. This was just an all-out just assault on this team, and this is something you don't need when you're getting ready to go on a 6-game road trip, including 4 on the West Coast, is to get run out of your gym by arguably one of the best teams in the Western Conference in the Utah Jazz. This was just an all-out ass-whooping by the Jazz, and the Wizards just were not there. They were there in the first half, but the second half was just a totally different story.
Yeah, the effort just went away in the second half of this game for the Wizards, and Utah just ran away with it. It just wasn't even close in that second half. Dominating effort. And so, yeah, that leads into the road trip that, like you mentioned, Champ, that's coming up, starting on the West Coast. Started on Monday night, last night in Denver. a tough Denver Nuggets team. Obviously a perennial team in the Western Conference, and this was a tough loss for the Wizards as well. You never really felt like they were in this game, honestly, at any point. At one point, Denver had just like a huge lead. I think at one point they led by like 30 points over the Wizards in this game. And at no point, even, when the Wizards did kind of cut it close, do you really feel like they had any chance in this game. Final score, Denver 113, Wizards 107. Champ, I'll go to you first. Did you get a chance to see any of this game, and what were your thoughts on the Wizards' loss in Denver last night?
I listened to this game on the radio. Shout out to Dave Johnson and Glenn Consor. Well, not Dave Johnson. It was actually who was it? Brian Alvin was in because Dave Johnson was receiving an award that night. But this was another one of those games where the Wizards basically got their asses handed to them. They only were able to come back in the fourth quarter to make it as close as the score was, but it just wasn't close for most of this game. Jokic absolutely just went off, 28 points and 19 boards. He was one assist away from a triple-double. I mean, you're not going to win games when a guy like that can go off like that. And one other thing is, this team needs to realize that they're not a three-point shooting team at all. I mean, they were 35% from beyond the arc. They seem to average around 30 to 35, 36% from beyond the arc. You're not going to win many games if you're not making those three-point shots. You need to play to your strengths, which is in the paint. Last season, they always dominated inside the paint when it came to paint points. Go to that. You have Gafford. You have some great forwards. You have Trez off the bench as a center. Play to your strengths, which is in the middle. And maybe then if you play more in the middle, in the paint, then maybe those three-point shots can become more open and non-contested and can be makeable. But if you're always taking so many threes, people are going to realize that you're not a three-point shooting team, but we still can guard that to make you an even worse three-point shooting team. So again, this is another ass whipping, even though the score doesn't reflect that, but this was an ass whipping, period.
No, it definitely looks like an ass whooping when you look at the box score, like I am right now. You're right. The 3-point shooting was really not there for the Wizards all game. 12 of 34 from 3-point shooting. It just wasn't there. And just from looking at the lineups for the Wizards, when it comes to scoring, almost nothing from the starters. Denny Avdia started at forward. He had only 4 points. Gafford started at center, 6 points. Dinwiddie only had 9 points. Beal had 19. KCP had 13, but that was pretty much it from the starters. And then in terms of the other scorings, Bertans was the only one who shot well from 3, 5 of 9 from 3, 21 points. Believe it or not, a great game for Bertans. And Holiday had 18 points as well off the bench. But that was pretty much it. Just overall, not a great night for the Wizards. Arun, do you have anything to add on this one?
Yeah, you touched on it. Bertans was pretty good. He had his career high last year against the Denver Nuggets, and it's good to see him actually get on track. Corey Kispert also knocked down one of his 2 3-pointers. I actually think they do need to go shoot threes mainly from those 2 guys. I don't know if Denny can shoot threes. He was 0-4. KCP 3 of 10. That's not bad. Beal 2 of 5 from 3-point range. That's like a lot better than his career average. But I don't know what Spencer Dinwiddie's. He's not scoring from anywhere. He only had 9 points. That contract is not looking really too hot over the last 6 of these 8 games, or they've lost. And these losses have not been close. Literally, you can say the same thing. Yeah, in garbage time, they made the game close. And then except for the Utah and the Toronto game where they're just playing blown out. But Beal did a good job setting up his teammates. He had 10 assists. But if they're going to double Beal, these other guys like KCP, Denny, Spencer Dinwiddie are going to have to step up. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty long season for the Wizards.
I mean, there's still a lot of time to turn it around. Obviously, I think there's still plenty of time. Like this is just like a tough loss for sure. And hopefully they get Kuzma back at some point. That's one thing I was going to talk about is, I mean, COVID is just wreaking havoc once again across not just the NBA, but really all sports world. And Champ, you were talking about it with it's affecting wrestling. You said, how is it affecting wrestling? You said it's. Go ahead.
So, a wrestler who just recently graduated as a young lion actually tested positive and had to miss recent tapings last week because he had contracted COVID-19, and it looks like it may have affected wrestlers in WWE because a match that was planned to happen last night for Raw had to be scrapped and pushed back 2 weeks, and they gave the reason for injuries, air quotes. But if they said 2 weeks, that means someone caught COVID and they have to isolate. But yeah, it's affecting wrestling not too much, but enough. But outside of that, sports world, I mean, and I said in the group chat the other day, like Monday, it was 37 people that tested positive for COVID. And then today it was another 25 or so that tested positive. COVID is still out here, people. Like, y'all seem to forget that. It's still out here and there's a new variant. Like, we can't get lax and stop wearing masks and doing all this other stuff and thinking that it's all over. It's not over. If anything, it's about to ramp up again. And we may see the shutdown of sports again if this gets worse than it is, honestly. So we need to be more vigilant, honestly.
Yeah, and like I said, I hope Kuzma comes back soon. And just to bring it back to the Wizards, I hope all the players of the Chicago Bulls who are really going through it, they've had some of their games postponed because of this. Hope they come back soon. Obviously, as a Knicks fan, I hope Obi Toppin, R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, who are all in the health and safety protocols, come back soon. I just hate that COVID is still affecting sports world like this. But anyway, let's move into we'll talk about the upcoming week for the Wizards. 3 games to preview. The first one is tomorrow night against the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento. Kings are 11-17, so not off to a great start this year in Sacramento. And then after that, on Thursday night, the very next night, they play one of the best teams in the NBA, if not the best team in the NBA, in the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix. That's a 9 o'clock tip-off on Thursday night. And then after that, they have Friday off. And then Saturday, they play the Jazz again. So play the Jazz for the second time in a week. And this time it's in Utah. It's a 9 o'clock tip-off. And so that's the games for the week. They're all on the road. Sacramento, Phoenix, and then Utah. You guys can just choose whichever games you want to talk about. I'll start with you, Arun. Since you didn't get a chance to talk about COVID, which game do you want to talk about first?
I'll talk about the Sacramento Kings. Last year, the Wizards split the season series between the Kings. And the first time the Wizards played the Kings, they were 14-25, and they lost. So the Wizards this season already have 15 wins and 13 losses. So they're off to a much better start than last season. So that's good progress for the Wizards. The Kings fired their head coach, Luke Walton, the day after a fan was puking in the stands. So we'll see how the Wizards can play against Sacramento, because Davion Mitchell from the national championship game, he should see plenty of time guarding Bradley Beal. Hopefully the Wizards can do a good job containing Fox and Halliburton, and hopefully they can come away with a win here. This is probably the easiest game on the road trip.
Yeah, I just want to say, from a Knicks perspective, everybody's always talked about, like, Knicks fans are like, well, let's get Lillard. Let's get Lillard. I've always said the player the Knicks should be going after is De'Aaron Fox. So I think he's younger than Lillard. He's just got some great, he's got some I think he's got a really smart basketball IQ. I think he's a really good player, that De'Aaron Fox on Sacramento. It's going to be an interesting game, that one against the Kings. So, yeah, I would love to have him on the Knicks personally. Champ, I'll go to you next. Do you want to talk about the Suns game or the Jazz game?
I want to talk about the Suns game because, again, that game worries me so much because it's off a back-to-back where they have to travel from Sacramento to Phoenix, Arizona, which is going to be a time difference, just an hour time difference, but still that makes a lot of difference. as well as having to deal with CP3, not to be confused with our CP3, but you still have to deal with him, who's averaging 14 points and 10 dimes a game. So he's averaging a double-double in that respect. Coming in, the Suns are second in the Western Conference. So as you said, Brian, they're one of the best, if not the best team in the NBA right now. And when you're coming off a back-to-back where you have to deal with that, you're probably not going to have certain players in this one like Dinwiddie. If he does play against Sacramento, he'll most likely rest this game because of maintenance for his knee. So this is one of those games where you literally have to come out and show the fight that you've shown these first few games of the season and really stand up and look eye to eye with one of the best teams in the league, coming off of traveling from Sacramento across one time zone into Phoenix to face this team. So this game worries me. And even though I feel like the Wizards will fight, I think they lose this game, obviously, because I think Chris Paul is definitely going to be a factor. Beal definitely needs to step up. Kuzma, if he's back from COVID protocols, needs to step up. KCP, everybody needs to step up in this one.
Oh yeah, the Suns they went throughout all of November without a single loss, which is crazy. It's hard to go an entire month without losing a single game. It's hard to believe. They are indeed one of the best teams in the NBA for sure. Obviously, they went to the NBA Finals last season. They had a 2-0 lead in the finals, and then of course Milwaukee won 4 straight to take the championship in 6. I guess I'll just quickly talk about the Utah game. I think it's going to be tough. Utah is really good at home. We've already seen how Utah handled them in DC just last week. I expect that game to be pretty much more of the same. I expect the Jazz to pretty much handle the Wizards in Utah. I expect that game to be probably another blowout, unfortunately, for the Wizards. I am, a little side note here. I am looking forward to next week, of course, for the Wizards. Just to look even further ahead when they play the 2 New York teams, the Nets, and of course my beloved New York Knicks. I'm looking forward to that as well. We'll break that down next week when we get a little closer to that. But that pretty much does it for Wizards Talk tonight. Thank you guys. You guys did great as usual, and we'll turn things back over to you, CP3.
All right, I appreciate that as always. Let me get my camera back on.
The real CP3.
Hey, baby, I wish I was that CP3 and had his bank account. Call me State Farm whenever you want to. What's going on, champ? Let the folks know what you got going on before we get out of here, man.
Right. So we did the final full No Spots podcast of 2021 this past Saturday. The final podcast for the No Spots Podcast Network will be taking place this Thursday with a live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/True No Spots Pod. Myself and Sage will be breaking down the final 2 nights of block action for the World Tag League 2021 and Best of the Super Juniors 28 tournament, as well as the finals. And then looking ahead, we'll give our thoughts on the final tour of New Japan for 2021, which is the Road to Tokyo Dome before they go into 2022, and Wrestle Kingdom, which will be 3 nights. After that, the No Spots podcast will go dark until 2022. So make sure y'all check that out. Again, twitch.tv/True No Spots Pod, as well as check out the podcast partners button on sportsochp.com to listen to the audio versions of our podcasts.
All right, appreciate it as always, man. I know it's good to wrap up the year with the podcast and then get ready for the new year and the new things that's coming. As always, appreciate you taking the time out to be a part of the NBA Roundtable and every other part of the Sports OTHP team you played a role in. So I appreciate that, man. You have a good night, and we'll catch you next week with some more Wizards talk.
Yup, y'all. I'll see y'all next week.
All right, man. Take it easy, Kent. All right, Brian, let the folks know what you got going on before we get out of here, because I know our show is tired today.
Don't forget Arun.
Man, he not on camera. Man, I'm used to seeing the dog in the background, man. Hey, Arun, what's going on, man? I know you said you had RG3 over there, man. Just tell him to send me an early copy of the book. I want to get a read before everybody else, man.
Yeah, he wants me to come at LeVar Arrington and Fred Smoot. They recently just went after RG3. They criticized him for his book for coming out with all the facts later. It's interesting because Fred Smoot had that sex scandal or boat scandal in Minnesota, and LeVar Arrington went to Penn State with Joe Paterno. We don't need to talk about that. So, hey, RG3, we don't need to bring up Sandusky. Okay, RG3. So maybe RG3 says he's willing to put chapters of LeVar Arrington and Fred Smoot in his book in order to decrease sales and cut them into the profits. He doesn't want, he's a team player.
Hey, that's what it's all about. That's all it is. They want to cut it to profits because nobody want to hear their story if they told it about their time at Redskins Park. I never would get it when folks get upset with somebody else making money off and doing something that if they had the same opportunity, they would do the same thing. It trips me out, just like with the LeBron thing when he announced what team he was going to, and Barkley came out there and said all that crazy stuff. Now his gambling, but if he would have had the opportunity to do that and make $1 million just to say he was going to somewhere and not win a championship, he would have took that chance also.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what Fred Smoot has to say to RG3 right now, but thanks for having me on, Carol.
All right, everyone. Yeah, I saw the post about it that he said, so I ain't even pay no mind to it. So, yeah, it is what it is. We catch you next week, Arun. Appreciate your time as always, man.
Thanks.
All right. Brian, there we go. I forgot Arun was in the wings without that little dog up there, man. I forgot he was even on there. So what you got going on with your part? I know you said you got the Knicks got some matchups next week with the Wizards and some other things. They've been playing pretty good. So what you got going on?
Yeah, first off, shout out to Robbie. Thanks for letting me house sit and crash in your house while you're away. I really appreciate it. Your house is in good hands. As far as my podcast goes, I've taken the last couple of weeks off, but I'm hoping to do a new episode soon. I've just been busy with work lately. I've just been busy, but I have a little bit more free time coming up, so I'm hoping to do an episode soon. The Knicks, they lost tonight to the Warriors. Steph Curry, shout out to Steph Curry. He broke the all-time record for three-pointers made in the NBA against the Knicks tonight at Madison Square Garden. It was an awesome moment, very cool. Steph absolutely deserves it. Really cool. I don't even really care that it was against the Knicks. I thought that was just really an awesome moment for the NBA. But yes, the Knicks did lose that game. And then also, I just want to give one final shout out. Shout out to NYCFC, MLS Cup champions. They beat Portland on Saturday in the MLS Cup final to win their first ever MLS Cup championship and the first ever MLS championship for New York, and the first championship for New York since the Giants won the Super Bowl in 2011. So it's awesome. I'm really happy for NYCFC, and thanks for having me on, Carol. I really appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right, Brian, you too, man. Appreciate it as always, man. See you next week.
Later.
Later. All right. Gonna go ahead and wrap the show up. We had another great show. Trying to keep it under 2 hours like we barely did. Had a lot of great content, a lot of great contributors. Appreciate y'all taking the time out. You can go check out all of our content, all of our podcasts and partners, apparel line, videos, highlights, whatever. That's sportsothp.com. You can also check it out on my YouTube channel, Carol Porter III. That's with 3 eyes, not the number 3. And you can always check out everything on the podcast. And if you don't get a chance to watch the show live or listen to it live, you can always check out the podcast and platforms, and we'll have it uploaded within a day or two. It's Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Just Google Sports OTHP and you're going to find it, because that's just what we do. Put that good DC sports content out there like you get nowhere else. No clickbait, no anonymous sources. We give it to you real, uncut. Real sports, the old sports talk like they used to do back in the old days. I know I'm old school. A lot of folks ain't down with that, but like I said, we got an audience that loves to hear us break it down the way we do. So, like I said, as always, if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, come on down to Waldorf Honda, 2450 Crane Highway, Waldorf, Maryland. Come ask for Carol. Get you the best deal on the best cars available. Also, if you're looking to save some money on utility bills during this Christmas time, hit me up. I got a program where you can save 10 to 15% on utility bills, lock it in for the summertime when the price goes, when the price is going up, your rate is locked in. Don't have to worry about any high bills in the winter or the summertime. Also got an identity theft program set up. Helps you monitor all the important credit card numbers, cell phone, license, emails, any and everything. Also VPN, all of that good stuff. So, like I said, I'm a jack of all trades, trying to get it in where I can. So hit me up if you're interested in any of those services. And in the show, as always, we're gonna play some independent music videos because got At the Bar Radio every Sunday night at 6 o'clock, bringing you the best entertainment news, sports, politics, current events, and of course, independent music and the best independent music videos. So in the show, and of course, Renegade and a couple of other artists that we've been highlighting on the show. So stay tuned. So much more. Working on a couple of interviews and a couple of things going on. So check us out. Excuse me. DC Sports Without the Politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. CP3, live from the lab, and I'm out. Renegade 703, baby.
I was down, now I'm really about to go get up. 10 rounds, now that nigga can't get up. That's what you get when you go fuck with the vision. My money be piling, we don't do division. The feds be watching, I just gotta get up. I was just down, now I'ma get up. Sleeping on me, I bet that they get up. My money was low, but now I'ma get up. Oh, bet that we get up. Pushing this weight, I'm doing sit-ups. I was just dirty, now I got my fit up. Too good for these bitches, I bet they gon' miss us. And I pack a bag if you think that I'm trippin'. I keep this shit brisk, like I'm lipped on. Even though niggas don't know what to get on. You ain't shit, till your niggas go and get on. Get you some pack, go make a flip homes. Yeah, I'm stuck in my bad ways. Niggas always being burnt out, so I dip them all in the ashtray. I don't understand these niggas that just always talking about, yeah, they past ways. I don't understand these bitches always comparing me to they past days. I give a fuck about you, you give a fuck about me. I just be rapping for money, you be rapping for free. Feel like that I rap like a god, the reason they call me a G. I'm against all of these odds. Niggas ain't fucking with me. Never no worries, Hakuna Matata. They say that I'm hot cause the devil with Prada. I'm soldier boy first and these niggas gon' follow. Catching them feelings, you catching these hollows. Ride with Rodriguez like I fuck with Rollo. Ain't got no time when I see this Movado. Bet that bitch shine like I'm in Monte Carlo. Looking at me like I done hit the lotto. Counting your last days, get hit up. Talking that trash, Shay on Twitter. Your bitch, she be bad, yeah, I'm with her. When she see me, her face be lit up. Boy, better go ahead and mind your business. I don't go back and forth like tenor. Run this game, I don't get no finna. But we about to get up. 10 rounds, now that nigga can't get up. That's what you get when you go fuck with the vision. My money be piling, we don't do division. The feds be watching, I just gotta get up. I was just down, now I'ma get up. Sleeping on me, I bet that they get up. My money was low, but now I'ma get up. Oh.
Crank it up, Pedro.
I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, 12 on my ass. Count up on the move, that's a digital dash. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke unless I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. I gotta wake up and go get the bag. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on the move, that's a digital dash. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. But I dish it like I give it and go. Counting money while I chill at the stove. How I deliver, I've been at the dough. It's up to you how business will go. That 36 I get for the look. Count it up, no feelings will show. Spend so much, gotta get it some more. When they hands out, I just give them a no. How they always talk about me, but a nigga stand out. Watch out how you really walk up to me, that's a man down. All these niggas got these drums with them like a band now. I've been doing what I want, that's what you can't doubt. I've been just feeling myself. Do I just really need help? I got my weight up. I be just telling myself I got love for all of my dogs. I take a pay cut. Some niggas really gon' ride. Some niggas really gon' slide. So go say a prayer. We ain't never gotta slap five. Nigga, just pay your tithes and call me the mayor. I gotta wake up and go get the bag. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings. She giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on the move. That's a digital dash. They been just losing. I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. I gotta wake up and go get the bag. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on the move, that's a digital dash. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past.
What's up? What's up, man? Seriously? I've been calling you all day. Listen. I'm in the booth. I'm gonna call you back as soon as I'm done. Give me like 10 minutes.
What do you mean you're gonna call me back? Like, I've been calling you all day. It's been hours. Like, what are you doing?
I know it's your birthday. My apologies. Give me 10 minutes, babe. I'm gonna call you right back.
No, you with them girls, aren't you? I know you're with them girls.
Ain't no damn girls in here.
So let me see then.
You gonna do that? You gonna do that to me in front of Chill?
Smooth B in the fellas.
You got me waiting on my birthday, so let me see.
Yeah, no problem. Fellas, say hello.
Hello.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah, we working. That's working hard though. Hey, listen. Hey, give me an hour. I'm gonna call you real quick. Calm down. Relax. I got you.
Hurry up.
All right.
Sometimes I don't even come home. Them nights you be calling my phone. I know it's hard for you, doing what I do, staying out at night. There's only one word for you that comes to my mind. Baby, you need to It might seem we're going the wrong way. You always scream, we never talk, and I never get a chance to say. I know it's hard for you, doing what I do, staying out at night. There's only one word for you that comes to my mind. Baby, you need to relax.
you hear me? I am calling now out your name, and now I know, and I'm here, and you know it. It's all just the same, and I know it's gonna be disco. Take me to a place where everybody learns, where everybody sees, where everybody shows their love. I didn't think so. You know. That's why I always champagne for you or me. I really didn't think so. I take a promise, I give it some love, I make a wish upon a star. You know you gotta get it right. You know you gotta get it right. Ooh. Every little thing counts now. Every little bitty thing. Can you hear me? I am calling now out your name, and now I know, and I'm here, and you know it. It's all just the same, and I know it's gonna be disco. It'd be so cool just to celebrate.